Okay, so James, shall we have a look at how we sign up to Jointly?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've gone on to the website.
Hmm.
I'm guessing if I downloaded the app on my phone, I would have a similar thing to do.
Yeah, the
Um,
process is
the
is the
process will be the
same.
same. So I could do that if I wanted to, but I can sign up from the website, so I'll do that today.
Yeah,
So if I click on sign up to Jointly today, then it's going to ask me for some of my details. So I will pop them in. Okay, and I will sign up.
there you go.
Okay, so it's asking me if I want to purchase a circle. What do I do here?
So this the circle, the phrase circle, what it refers to in this context is the circle around a cared for person. So at the moment, with the free access code that has been arranged by Nottinghamshire County Council, you can create a circle for one cared for person for free. So you could click that use free access code, and it should allow you to enter. Yeah, so this has taken you to the uh, profile page, if you like, of the cared for person, where you can put in all of their details in the boxes there about their name and condition.
Okay, so I would just fill this in.
Yeah. There we go. So the access code that we have is in capital letters DPCN 9317.
Okay.
There we go.
So I
So now
can
you
set
can,
up some more information about my cared for person.
yeah, okay. So this is my interface, and in this one, I've just named the cared for one. And as you can see here on this overview page, there are examples of a calendar event, a task, and just a general history of what's happened really on the account. So this will all show up when you create these in the different sections. So the profile section, this is similar to the screen that popped up at the start, I believe, where you can add in more information on condition, dietary requirements, etc., as needed. The messages system is essentially for if you there are multiple members of looking after this one cared for person, they can all have their own account using that same code. And you can write messages in here, thoughts and updates that everybody can see either on their computer or smartphone.
Okay, so that's the same with the profile then, isn't it? If
Mm.
one person, if say the main carer fills in all the medications and information about the condition on the profile, other people who have access to cared for one's details will be able to see that as well, won't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That everything that you can do on here is designed, I think, really to help with multiple people being involved in the caring role, so that people can step in if you're indisposed for any reason, and just to keep everybody up to date, really. So, for example, under the calendar section, as you can see here, on the 26th of January, I created a doctor's appointment event. So to do that, you would just go to create new event. and you would put in the event title. Let's make another doctor's appointment. You could put in your GP surgery. Where it says who here, if you had multiple cared for people, you would have the option of picking whether that was for one or both or multiple. Obviously, we only have the one cared for here, so that's selected automatically. In the description section, you can put in any notes that somebody might want to know if they were going to take the cared for to the appointment. You can put in the date, so that's today's date, the 31st at 1 p.m. And if it were a certain event that went on all day, you could just select that or have a different start and end time, for example, an hour here. And you can also choose to make this a recurring event, daily, weekly, monthly, or creating your own custom routine, which would be really helpful if this is something that isn't a one-off. And then you can set these reminders that will tell you so many hours or minutes before the event, just to make sure you don't forget. And you can also add your own categories. So you could create a medical category, for example, and then assign this event to that category. You can also upload any images, so maybe a picture of some medication or anything you want to take with you to the appointment. I turn that to, let's not repeat. There we go. I can now save this event created, and it's now on this date in the calendar, which everybody will be able to see that's part of this circle.
Great. It's really useful. I like the reminders.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Notes section. So this is quite an open section again, where you can just create any information that you'd like to share or just keep a log of really and look back to. And that can include images. And again, you can assign it to an existing category or create a new one. This is an example of a task. So rather than creating something in the calendar that has a set time, this might be something more general, like wanting to complete some shopping or something that you just want to add to your to-do list, essentially, but there's not a time critical element to it. So you can add a deadline if you like. So we could put one in for next Wednesday, 7th of February.
So it could be something like book blood test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll use that as an example. And this who's responsible is, again, built into the circle system. So here, carer 1 is my profile, or you can have unassigned, which just means that it's open to anybody to take, really. But if you had multiple carers looking after one person with their own accounts, then you could assign this to whoever it's most applicable to. Due date. And you can also create a new task list. So, for instance,
maybe February's list. It could be, maybe it could be a monthly list, or it could be things that are to do with the house rather than things that are to do with appointments or those sorts of categories, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you've got the category option where you can put that under medical again. You can add any notes that you like. And again, you've got the option of reminders in the days and weeks before the event. So once saved, that will appear in the active tasks list and will also appear in the overview when everybody logs into their app. just here.
In the task list, James, was there an option there to tick it off?
Yes, there is.
Brilliant.
Complete this task. So we can say that the prescription collection was completed, and then that will disappear off that list and appear under the completed tab if you want to refer back to it.
That's helpful.
You can also set reminders in the reminder tab. So the example it gives here is grocery shopping. Again, you can select who's responsible and provide any information you want there. Adding a date and time when you'd like it to recur, if you would like it to. And it can also remind you when it's due and if it's overdue as well. This is the contacts list. So in here is a perfect place to store emergency contacts and medical professionals, social workers, anybody really that you think it's important to have their details at your fingertips, really. So you can have names, email addresses, contact numbers, the relationship to the cared for person, any notes, and again, you can assign them to a category. So for medical professional, you could add them under a medical category, for example, and you can also add a profile picture if you have one. The medications tab is really handy, and this you can log past and present prescriptions, talk about the purpose, how often the cared for person has them. So here it's got an option of daily or weekly intervals. Is the medication current? Like I mentioned, you can have a previous medication if you like, and you can also add dosage information, like 1 tablet at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can have the start date of taking the medication, so we could have today, and end date if it was to try for a month, have 29th of Feb. You have the option of adding a new location here. So this is where the medication is kept. So you could put medicine cabinet in the bathroom, for example. So that will help anybody find the medication if somebody's stepping into care. Add some notes here about when to take the medication or how it's taken, and any additional information that might be helpful.
Be a good way of keeping a log. So when you're going back to a medical appointment, you can talk about what side effects or problems or what's going well with it as well, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's asking me to put a name here, so I'll put aspirin, and then that should allow me to save it. And then it will tell me a schedule, essentially. So if you have multiple medications there, it would be really handy to help you keep track of that. And yeah, I think that's most of the functionality. There is a section here on Jointly at a Glance and FAQs, user guide, which just give a bit more information if you get confused about anything or want to know how something works.
So do we know how to add another carer to this person?
Invite members, and then you can put in their email address and name, whether to make them an administrator and give them permissions to edit medications, view private notes, and have them down as an emergency contact. So when you put the person's details in, they'll receive an email invitation to jointly, which they can use to join this circle, essentially.
Very good. And then that way they can see the information that you've put in about Cared For One and the medication and the calendar and all of the bits and bobs that we've just filled in.
Yes, yeah, and if you give them permission to, then they can add things as well, or they can just view it, whichever you prefer, really.
That looks really useful.
Yeah.